Chair recognizes the lady from Lynn, Representative Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I'd like to say that I really appreciate my colleague, Representative Behringer's work on this bill. Certainly there are concerns, and I think we all support agriculture in the state of Iowa. I do have some strong concerns about this bill, however, so I rise in strong opposition to House File 649, which is yet another Ag-gag bill which endeavors to silence whistleblowers and consumer advocates. This bill gives the middle finger to free speech, consumer protection, food safety, and animal welfare. As you all may know, Iowa's previous Ag-gag bill was struck down as unconstitutional in court because it infringed upon First Amendment protections. Proponents of this bill are still trying to silence whistleblowers, but this time they are creating a crime of trespass to agricultural production facilities. This includes puppy mills, by the way. Interestingly, these trespassers would not be trespassing in the normal sense of the word, and we actually already have laws protecting against trespassing. In this case, an actual employee of an operation could be guilty of the crime of trespassing. What sense does that really make? Even more concerning is the loose language regarding intent to cause other injury. So first, a person doesn't even have to publicize an investigation. Simply intending to investigate constitutes a crime, which is basically, in my book, a thought crime. Other injury includes damage to the reputation of a facility, which may in fact be warranted if such an investigation produces evidence of unsafe practices or animal cruelty. I'm sure Big Ag really doesn't want people to see images of baby piglets grabbed by their feet and slammed against the concrete, but this has happened. Simply stated, producers want to do whatever they want and don't want the public to be able to find out. And this is really sad to me since I know that there are many conscionable agricultural producers, and I want to believe that only a few truly fear the sunlight of free speech. Criminalizing whistleblowing shows absolute contempt for concerned consumers and a fundamental insecurity regarding the product and methods used. Earlier, I mentioned puppy mills. That's right, let's not forget that this bill would conceal harmful puppy mill practices. Unsurprisingly, this is not the only effort the puppy mill industry is making to hide animal abuses. Consumers used to be able to visit a USDA website to research a commercial dog breeder to ensure health, safety, and humane practices were being followed. Over the past year, the website has been taken down, and now we have to do a FOIA request, which takes months and months and months and months. And not only that, a new policy has been enacted with regard to puppy mill violations, heavily redacting the information provided with black lines. These are things that we have a right to know, such as the type of violations, frequency, and photos of conditions observed. Puppy mills are now informed of when inspectors will visit. That's pretty convenient because if we can't really know if a producer is following ethical practices and they're given a heads up before inspections, how is the public to know? If this bill passes, I guess we just won't. And finally, just like the last Ag-gag bill, I believe that this bill will ultimately be ruled unconstitutional on First Amendment grounds since its objective is to silence speech that producers find inconvenient. Instead of making laws to silence people, our state should concentrate on stopping the types of safety violations and animal cruelty that people might find objectionable. In 1904, journalist Upton Sinclair published The Jungle, intended to expose exploitation of Lithuanian immigrants working in the meatpacking industry, which exploitation of immigrants in agriculture is still going on. The novel instead turned a spotlight onto unsafe practices in the meatpacking industry, such as the sale of tubercular beef. The novel was a result of undercover investigation by Sinclair. Of course, meatpackers opposed the novel, and even President Teddy Roosevelt derided Sinclair because of disagreements in political philosophy. Still, the concern raised was enough that in 1906, President Teddy Roosevelt commissioned a report, and he found much lacking in the industry. This resulted in the Neil Reynolds report, which confirmed those horrors, and later in 1906, Congress passed the Federal Meat Inspection Act of 1906. This was good for the health and safety of all Americans, even though it upset and caused the meatpacking industry to change its practices. This may not have happened without Upton Sinclair's first-hand investigative experience inside meatpacking houses, which is the very act this bill would criminalize. When there's money at stake, corners will always be cut, and when the government cuts dollars to USDA inspection, as often happens, unsafe and inhumane practices slip through the cracks. The American consumer has a right to know, so I'm a hell no on this bill today.
Chair recognizes the lady from Sierra Gorda, Representative Steckman.